one little hair out of place. Sorry, I needed to be professional. I am Ray, and here is the spiritual trick to become invisible from toxic people. If they have blue hair, run away. Bright colors is universally known in the animal kingdom to be toxic. Okay, let's get serious. What you may not know, there's something in my eye. Oh my God. How can I be serious with a speck in my eye? What you may not realize is that toxic people are actually here to support you on your spiritual journey. But because we label them as toxic, we suffer. First thing we need to know is that all is one. There is no separation. There is only life expressing itself through an infinite array of different forms. And once you realize that, you will see that, oh, wait a minute, I don't need to take this so personally. But that life is bringing forth this individual to teach me something about myself. The moment you realize this, toxic people disappear. Because you realize there are no people. They don't exist. Scientifically speaking, everything on Earth is made up of stardust. What is stars? Energy. So energy is your true nature. You are not a person. That is why we say you're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. Well, toxic people are here to reveal your attachments. That is the purpose that they serve. Whenever you encounter a toxic person, become aware of your trigger. You reframe the toxic person and say, how is this person trying to help me? Because the moment that person triggers an attachment, they have just helped you on your spiritual journey. But if we're so busy trying to run away from toxic people, you will never learn. Another hair out of place. And the fact is, there will always be negativity. The question is, how well can you transmute this negativity into positivity? Will you allow negativity to destroy you? The moment you change the way you react to the toxic person, the moment the toxic person disappears, they are no longer toxic. They are your spiritual guru, your teacher. You see, we all exist on our own unique timeline. There is one Earth, but there is 8 billion different worlds, 8 billion different realities being experienced at the same time. Now, we naturally rise to higher frequencies. We naturally rise toward heaven, as if you were a balloon. But what happens? We have all kinds of attachments that is like mud caked onto the balloon. So instead of rising naturally, we fall naturally toward hell. The more attachments you have, the more you suffer. And so what will happen is that life will present to you the exact situations that you need in order to deal with those attachments. You could say that's the whole reason we're alive here in this particular body. The soul incarnates into this particular form to go through the exact experiences it needs in order to return to source. And so what will happen on your journey? As you go along and you're improving your life, you will try to ascend to a higher timeline. But because you might still be holding on to certain attachments, it will bring you back down again. And what happens is that the toxic person, they only exist on this timeline. So you might try to escape, but then you come back. And then you try to escape, and then you fall back. But what happens is that the moment you ascend to a higher timeline, the toxic person automatically disappears from your life because they're no longer an energetic match to you. They were an energetic match to your attachment, which is why they triggered you. What is an attachment? It's like a leech on your skin, like a parasite draining you of your blood. So too is the toxic person like an energetic vampire. Because you get triggered, it means you're attached, and therefore your energy is being drained. This piece of hair is distracting you, I'm sorry. But the moment you become non-attached, you can throw the leech away. Be nice to the person. The point is, the toxic person can only remain in your life so long as you remain triggered, so long as you remain attached. The moment you become free from the attachment, you rise to a higher timeline and you are free from that toxic person. You simply won't experience their presence. You might even see them, but there will be little to no interaction at all. The toxic person is stuck down here, and congratulations, you're moving up in life. But what happens is that if you take things personally, you get caught up in the drama, you struggle, the more you allow your energy to be drained, the more you stay stuck on these lower timelines, dealing with the same toxic, negative situations over and over and over again, until you learn the lesson that life is trying to teach you. Everybody you experience is a mirror, but you must have your mind oriented in the right direction. What are these people revealing about me? And the moment you can start reframing your mindset this way, no toxic people ever have any power over you again. Once you learn how to transmute negativity, you master the universe. Because no matter what situation you experience, you will always come out on top. Now, how might we become free from this attachment, you might ask? Whenever you get a strong emotion, if you react unconsciously, it will keep you attached. Let's look at it this way. Here is you. Here's a toxic person. The toxic person is negative. So what do? They try to steal your energy because they're living in lack. And so they will do things to try to trigger you. Probably unconsciously. Doesn't matter. If you feed them your energy, you give them a little piece of you. And that is where the attachment is. They have your energy, so now they can pull you around. They have an influence over you. The more energy you give them, the more powerless you become. And the more attached you are to that individual. And you see, where attention goes, energy flows. Everything in the universe automatically falls apart naturally. Therefore, nothing can sustain itself without the life that you give. Energy is the force of life. Without your life, things naturally fall to entropy. So all you have to do is take your attention away. Imagine if this negative situation was a fire. You interacting with that toxic person, continuing the relationship, feeding into it, is like pouring gasoline onto the fire and then wondering why it's so hot in here. So the first thing you want to do, stop it. Stop feeding the toxic person your energy. All the person is trying to do is get a negative reaction out of you. If you don't give them your negative reaction, they cannot feed off your energy. And they will go find somebody else. If you did this alone, if you just no contact, eventually they would use your energy up and it would dissipate. And then when they need to feed again, they might come back to you. But you're not open for business, my friend. So you have nothing to give. And once the person knows they cannot feed off you, they will go away. But if you continue to entertain their nonsense, they will stay. So naturally you will become free from the attachment so long as you stop feeding it. And then how we want to put water on the fire to become completely free, to heal ourselves, is that whenever we feel a strong emotion, whenever we get triggered, we want to slow down and sit with that feeling. I encourage you every day to take time to sit with yourself, because you would be surprised how much nonsense is running in the background. You're trying to just live your daily life, do your thing. But if there's all this garbage happening that you're not paying attention to, it's going to drag you down. It's going to keep you stuck. You must face yourself and learn how to sit with difficult emotions. Because most people, they suck at it. They don't know how to sit with difficult emotions. They don't know how to deal with difficult thoughts. But if you sit in meditation, not even with any intentions at all, just allow whatever happens to happen. Allow the thoughts to arise. Allow the feelings to arise. Just sit with them. And if you find yourself getting anxiety, panicking, watch yourself begin to panic. Watch or observe the feelings, observe the thoughts, observe your reactions. Because the thing is, whatever you observe, automatically you create separation from that thing. Because in order to observe, you need an object of observation, and you need a subject to observe that object. You are always the subject, see? And this space is your safe space. Through observation alone, you create non-attachment. But what happens? We identify with our thoughts. We identify with our emotions. So we become one with them. And now they can drag us all over the place. When you react negatively to a thought, to a person, to an emotion, you are attached to it. When you do not react, you are free from it. The goal here is non-reaction, because when you do not react to something, you do not feed it your energy. But in order to not react, we have to become familiar with difficult feelings, with difficult thoughts. Because by the time we've already been triggered, we're now just unconsciously reacting to things. The problem is that we do not know how to deal with energy. Energy is a very powerful and potentially destructive force, like electricity. So if you do not know how to flow it properly, it can hurt you, it can hurt others. Think about anger, for instance. How many relationships do you think have been ruined because people cannot control their anger? Anger is fire. You're a firebender in that moment. And depending on how well you're a firebender, determines whether or not you burn yourself or burn others. But the moment you learn how to handle that energy, it is a very creative and powerful force. It is not a bad thing. So whenever you feel anger, feel it fully. Don't go and do things. Don't entertain a story about the anger. This person made me angry. I'm angry. Just feel what it feels like a scientist with a magnifying glass. What is the texture of anger? Or what about sadness? What is the color of sadness? The whole trick is becoming as present as possible. Being present with the sadness, with the anger, with the resentment, whatever it is. Not running away from it, not fighting it, not being afraid. That is one of the main purposes of meditation. To become a proper vessel for the divine energy of life that takes certain forms. Life in the form of fire is anger. Life in the form of water can be sadness. Everything is energy expressing itself in its own unique ways. And most people suffer because they don't know how to handle this energy. And the big key is non-judgment. The problem is we get triggered and we judge and label the emotion as bad or wrong. And because we label it as wrong, whatever triggered that emotion, we label also as bad. This person is bad because they did this thing to me. But we don't realize that we're sabotaging our own life by judging the emotion as wrong or bad, and then judging the person as wrong or bad. The moment when you flip the script, you realize that life is actually just trying to help you. You stop judging yourself and others. Now you have the clarity to learn the lesson and let go of the attachment. And like in school, if you do not learn the lesson, you will repeat it. There is no such thing as a bad emotion, or a bad feeling, or a bad thought. But there is such thing as bad judgment. And think about it. If you judge a feeling as wrong, or even if you judge a person as wrong, think about how that is allowing the negativity in. Because when you believe that a toxic person has power over you, they do. You allow them in through your reaction. And you react because you judge them. But when you don't react, when you're not attached, you are free. They have no power over you. And because you're no longer feeding that attachment, you naturally rise higher. And then you don't have to deal with the problem anymore. So step 1, a fundamental attitude shift toward life. As Albert Einstein probably never said, the one true question we must ask ourselves is whether or not we live in a friendly universe or a hostile one. The moment you accept that everything is working out perfectly in your favor, the moment you will see evidence that that is true. Step 2, we will get triggered automatically. We can't help it because we all have many underlying attachments, oftentimes that we're not even aware of. So when we get triggered, first thing is non-judgment. Don't get caught in a psychological drama. Don't judge or label the emotion. Don't judge or label the person, because these things are getting you caught in this storm of things, which keeps you from clarity. You're caught in your emotions. You're caught in your thoughts. A story in your mind. We need clarity. Step 3, just be. Be with those difficult feelings. Observe those thoughts. Watch how you react to life. Look at yourself from a third-person perspective. And when you stop resisting your thoughts, you stop resisting life, you stop resisting your feelings, you allow life to flow freely. You get rid of the energy blockages, because that is what attachments are. They're energy blockages or energy leakages. And once you allow life to flow freely again, you return to a state of harmony. And the only reason that problems exist in the first place is a lack of harmony. So you heal the energy blockage in yourself, and the problem automatically fixes itself in the world. But if you try to go out into the world and fix the problem, deal with the person, work on the relationship or whatever, that's all nice and good. Heal yourself. The world will take care of itself. Because there is only one reality. The outer world and the inner world are one. And so everything that we experience is a mirror reflection of us. We don't have to fix the problem in the world. We only have to heal the problem in ourselves. And most of the time the problem is we don't know how to sit with ourselves. We don't know how to face the difficult emotions or handle the difficult thoughts. But if you can take the time each day to slow down in meditation and just be, just observe, you become a greater vessel for this life energy. And whatever you heal within yourself, you open up the space for others to heal the same thing. That is how you truly fix your relationships. And if the other person does not want to change, that is their problem. Because you will be rising to higher states of consciousness, to higher timelines. And if they don't want to come with you, so be it. The moment you heal, the moment you return to inner harmony, all that is not energetically aligned to your new reality will fall away. And sometimes that can look like your life is falling apart. But no, your life is falling into place, my friend, because the old has to be removed in order to make space for the new. And I like to say, there are too many good people in this world for you to waste your time with people who do not value your energy. Do not waste your time with energy vampires or toxic people. Learn from them and do not judge them, but observe how life is gently guiding you, or not so gently. And toxic people will never have any power over you ever again. I am Ray. Visit my cool store. Let me know in the comments what you need, my friend, and I will do my best to supply it for you. Much peace and many blessings, and remember, just be.